The group demands that Bashar al-Assad's troops leave the area.
They will all be released after Bashar al-Assad's forces withdraw from the village of Jamla and surrounding areas near the border with Israel.
The captives are part of a 300-strong Philippine contingent of a UN force that has been monitoring the disengagement of Israeli and Syrian troops in the Golan since the 1974 armistice following the previous year's Yom Kippur War. Russia's ambassador to the UN, who is the current president of the Security Council, said the move was very strange.
In this particular case, of course, the situation is particularly unacceptable and bizarre. That Andov are unarmed, and they have nothing to do with the situation in Syria. They are there on a completely different missions. Today there is this incident on the other side, on this no man's land between Syria and Israel. So somebody is trying very hard in order to try to blow this crisis up.
The Filipino government has demanded their immediate release and said that taking the soldiers hostage was a gross violation of international law. Meanwhile, Israel fears that the incident will lead countries contributing peacekeepers to withdraw their troops from the Golan Heights. Israel captured much of the Golan Heights in the 1967 Middle East War and then annexed it in 1981. In December of last year, the UN warned of the presence of Syrian rebels in the demilitarized zone of Golan Heights.
Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans were out in the streets to mourn the death of their beloved leader, Hugo Chavez. It took the coffin of the former president several hours before it could reach the military academy in Caracas. Several South American leaders have arrived in the country to take part in the national mourning. More in this report.
In Venezuela, hundreds of thousands gathered around Hugo Chavez's coffin. A last chance to say goodbye to their leader. Many wore red, the Chavez color, and it took the convoy several hours under the scorching sun to get to Caracas's military academy. National television broadcasted live from the chapel, which will remain open until the national funeral takes place on Friday at 10 a.m. Throughout the night, people queued to see Hugo Chavez's face one last time. That's something that the televisions aren't broadcasting.
I saw him looking normal, as he has always looked. I feel bad because he was loved. I really loved the president, as did my family. If it wasn't for the president, we wouldn't be living here in a decent apartment.
Sadly, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. I can't believe such a strong and courageous man has passed away. But he has.
South American heads of state have already arrived in Caracas to take part in the national mourning. Other foreign leaders are also expected to attend the funeral. Chavez represented a socialist revolution and was an inspiration to a number of neighboring countries and a pet hate of the United States. His passing away leaves a void, and many wonder if the man Chavez had designated as his successor, Nicolas Maduro, will be able to fill it.
Chavez showed us the way. He taught us what to do. He told us what to do to continue what he has prepared us for. So what we need to do now is to follow his instructions, to continue his preparations.
Instructions which are to vote in favor of Nicolas Maduro. The Venezuelan people will cast their ballot and elect a successor in a month's time.
We'll go for another break. Be back in a moment. The second edition of the Sports for Health tournament is set to start this weekend at the Serekunda West Mini Stadium. The organizers have been briefing the media ahead of the event. Amoru Estialo has the rest of that story.
Two-day competition starting on the 10th to the 11th March aims at maintaining a balanced and healthy condition of those segments of the society who barely have the time to get involved in sports.
The aim and objective of this program is try to at least engage the people, the veterans, the aged people more, so that they can come and join and then enjoy themselves within these 2 days and then have fun on sporting activities.
This year's tournament will also see the business sector participate for the first time in this competition. The move organizers say is geared towards strengthening the friendly coexistence of private and public sector workers.
The other aspect of it is you can make friends, know each other, so that, you know, at least within the cluster of the civil service and the politicians, legislature, judiciary, I mean, it's important to know each other so that, you know, if we are working as we are, you need something from somebody, it can be a very easy thing to get.
The competition will feature different sporting disciplines, ranging from football, shot put, tug of war, and a host of other interesting activities, as mentioned by the Director of Youth and Sports.
Because it involves small-sided games like football, aerobics, which everybody will love because it's all about dancing, enjoying yourself, and then at the same time, you know, you're building up your health, you know. And then we're having a tug of war, and we're having athletics at this. We introduced athletics for the first time, a 100-meter race for young and then aged people. 50-meter race, young and aged people.
Having been handed the opportunity to take part for the first time in the tournament, a delegate from the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the umbrella body of the business community, revealed their delight and preparedness in the upcoming competition.
We are the last to come on board, but the most prepared. Young companies, they've all been contacted. And up to now, we're still sending out the message to other members of the private sector.
Although there are trophies up for grabs, at the end of the day, the catchword here is camaraderie for public and private sector employees. Mohamed Jallo, GRTS Sports.
Well, before we go, a reminder of our top stories. Gambia Ports Authority's Dock Workers Union Thursday presented 155 bags of groundnut to President Jammeh through the Minister of Agriculture. The Law Faculty of the University of the Gambia has organized a consultative forum on elections and diversity management for crucial players in the Gambia's electoral process. Suspicions of vote rigging has been mounting in Kenya following delays in the announcement of election results in a country with a bitter experience of post-election violence. And a Syrian rebel faction has taken 21 UN peacekeepers hostage to the chagrin of the residents of the to the President of the UN Security Council. That's all in this edition of the news. Thanks for your time, and do stay tuned to GRTS and enjoy our programs. Bye for now.
والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إنكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إنكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.